The Baltimore Ravens have had an eventful stretch this season, and as we look ahead, the conversation around the team is starting to heat up in ways that could shape the next several years. For this franchise, one of the names making waves in recent speculation is George Pickens, and while some might roll their eyes at the idea, the potential of him joining Baltimore is more intriguing than many give it credit for. Picture this: Lamar Jackson connecting with a receiver who brings size, athleticism, and a different dynamic to the offense. Rashad Bateman has been reliable in possession, but the Ravens haven't had a true big boundary threat who can stretch the field and open up lanes for Jackson to operate. If Pickens were to come aboard, it wouldn't be a cure-all, but it would certainly offer a new weapon to an offense that has been searching for consistency outside of its running game. The tricky part, of course, is personality management. Pickens has shown flashes of brilliance in the past, but integrating a high-profile player into a locker room is never straightforward. Still, John Harbaugh has navigated complex dynamics before, and the Ravens' cap flexibility, with over $40 million projected for 2026, gives them room to maneuver if they choose to pursue a player of that caliber. The reality is that even entertaining the idea of Pickens coming to Baltimore signals the team's willingness to think outside the box and explore options that could elevate the offense in ways the current roster hasn't quite managed. While receivers and offensive playmakers draw a lot of attention, the Ravens' defensive side has also been busy shaping their future. Travis Jones recently finalized a deal that stunned some fans and analysts alike. The details: 3 years, $40.5 million, a figure that some might have expected to be higher or lower depending on perspective. But it represents a strategic win for the Ravens. Jones' journey to this contract was anything but straightforward. Due to technicalities with the collective bargaining agreement, he only accrued 3 accredited seasons, meaning he was on the verge of restricted free agency sooner than usual. There was the looming uncertainty of a grievance filed on his behalf, a situation that could have swung either way, potentially altering the team's approach to keeping him. In the end, a resolution was reached that satisfied both sides, securing Jones' services for the next several years and giving Baltimore a cornerstone on the interior of the defensive line. His on-field impact goes beyond the box score. While his sack numbers are modest, his ability to disrupt run games, command attention from blockers, and anchor the interior front is significant. Paired with other defensive pieces, he provides a foundation that the Ravens can build upon as they look to fortify their trenches in the upcoming offseason. The context around Jones' deal also speaks to the Ravens' broader approach to roster management. They've been navigating a series of challenges, from unresolved questions about other defensive linemen to the need to maintain continuity with younger talent, with players like Nambi Medik's status uncertain. The Ravens are making moves that ensure at least some stability on a line that has seen its share of upheaval. Adding extensions for key contributors, including Travis Jones, is part of a deliberate strategy to stabilize the roster while preserving flexibility for future acquisitions in the back half of the season. Attention shifts not only to the immediate performance on the field, but also to how management is setting up the team for the offseason. Contract extensions, player acquisitions, and potential new signings all intersect with the current roster's needs, from offensive protection schemes to defensive matchups. Meanwhile, the quarterback and receiver landscape remains central to the discussion. Lamar Jackson's connection with his receiving corps continues to evolve, with debates around Zay Flowers and other key targets shaping how the offense might develop in the coming seasons. Flowers' potential 5th-year option and contract projections underscore the strategic financial planning required to maintain a competitive roster. On the defensive side, Marlon Humphrey's performance at cornerback has been a mixed bag, and questions remain about how the team values his contributions relative to his cap hit. Balancing financial decisions, performance evaluations, and roster continuity is no small task, especially in a league where speed, matchups, and depth often determine success more than isolated individual talent. The Ravens' offensive philosophy also continues to spark discussion. The traditional reliance on the running game as the engine of the offense has reached a point where flexibility and adaptation are necessary. Jackson's mobility and passing acumen require a supporting cast capable of stretching defenses, executing precise route concepts, and providing reliable hands in critical situations. The potential addition of a dynamic receiver, whether through free agency or other roster moves, represents an opportunity to diversify the attack and relieve some pressure on the running game. Similarly, attention to offensive line upgrades is essential, as no amount of talent at the skill positions can compensate for a lack of protection. The interplay between roster construction, coaching strategy, and in-game adjustments defines the trajectory of this team, and the Ravens front office appears poised to navigate these complexities as they plan for both the remainder of the season and the offseason ahead. From a defensive standpoint, the Ravens have multiple moving pieces that require careful management. The depth chart has experienced fluctuations, and while some players have stepped up in the absence of others, long-term planning is crucial. With Travis Jones locked in for the next few years, the team gains a degree of security at a critical position, allowing them to explore complementary pieces along the defensive line. This stability is particularly important given uncertainties surrounding other players, such as the potential return of Medic and the performance of less experienced linemen. Maintaining balance across the roster, ensuring adequate rotation, and preparing for contingencies are key considerations as the Ravens look to field a unit capable of competing at a high level throughout the season. The cumulative effect of these moves and considerations underscores a broader philosophy in Baltimore. The team is not just reacting to immediate circumstances, but positioning itself to compete sustainably, balancing talent acquisition with roster management, financial prudence, and strategic planning. Each decision, from extensions to potential signings, carries ripple effects that influence not only the current campaign, but also the organization's trajectory over multiple seasons. Fans watching from the sidelines may see headlines and rumors, but the real story lies in how these calculated decisions interact to form a cohesive vision for the team's future, a vision that encompasses both offensive innovation and defensive stability, anchored by leadership on and off the field. Looking forward, the Ravens' offseason strategy is already shaping up to be one of the most consequential in recent memory. With critical contracts locked in for key players like Travis Jones and Rashad Bateman, the front office can now turn its attention to remaining decisions that could define the team's competitive window. One of the biggest areas of focus is the wide receiver room and the ongoing conversation around Zay Flowers. Flowers has shown flashes of brilliance, but his consistency remains under scrutiny, and the financial implications of his fifth-year option mean that Baltimore must carefully weigh how much they are willing to invest to keep him in the fold. Flowers has the talent to stretch defenses and provide a reliable target for Lamar Jackson, but the team's decision will hinge not just on ability, but also on fit within the broader scheme, how his skill set complements other receivers, and how the contract aligns with the salary cap structure over the next several years. The Ravens are operating in a delicate balance, trying to maintain a competitive roster while managing resources intelligently, and Flowers represents one of the more high-stakes pieces in that puzzle. Equally important is the discussion around Marlon Humphrey. His performance at cornerback has been a topic of debate, with some fans questioning whether he can continue to anchor the outside in a league where speed and matchup versatility are paramount. Baltimore faces a choice: invest to retain him at his current cap hit, or explore alternatives that could free up financial flexibility for other roster priorities. Humphrey's experience and past production are valuable, but recent inconsistencies have created uncertainty about his long-term role. Decisions like this illustrate the Ravens' challenge in managing both veteran presence and the influx of young talent. Balancing proven performance with potential growth, the defense, in particular, needs to maintain continuity while evolving to address league-wide trends, including the increasing speed and complexity of passing attacks beyond individual players. The Ravens' offensive line remains a top priority. No amount of talent at skill positions can compensate for inadequate protection, and this season has shown that when the offensive line struggles, the entire system falters. The running game has traditionally been the centerpiece of the Ravens' offensive philosophy, but reliance on the run alone has proven insufficient. Jackson's dual-threat ability offers a unique advantage, yet it can only be fully leveraged if the offensive line provides consistent protection. This means the front office must explore opportunities to reinforce both the interior and edge positions, ensuring that the quarterback has the time and space to make high-percentage throws, and that the running game can function without the constant threat of disruption. The interplay between line play, skill position execution, and scheme design will be critical as the Ravens look to maximize their offensive output in the coming seasons. Looking at the defensive side, the team is navigating a period of transition. Travis Jones' extension provides a cornerstone in the interior line, But questions remain about depth, rotational players, and the ability to generate consistent pressure against opposing quarterbacks. The Ravens have seen key players like Nambi Medic face uncertainty, leaving gaps that need to be addressed either through internal development or strategic acquisitions. Beyond the line, the secondary and linebacker cores require attention, particularly as the team considers how best to complement experienced veterans with emerging talent. Defensive continuity and adaptability are essential, especially in a division where offensive schemes are increasingly sophisticated and capable of exploiting mismatches. The challenge for Baltimore's coaching staff is to maintain stability while integrating new pieces and evolving the overall defensive philosophy. The intersection of contracts, player performance, and roster needs will also influence the Ravens' approach to free agency. The financial flexibility created by smart extensions, like those for Jones and Bateman, allows the team to pursue additional high-impact players without jeopardizing long-term stability. Wide receivers, interior offensive linemen, and complementary defensive linemen are all potential targets, with each acquisition offering the opportunity to address a specific need or upgrade a position group. At the same time, Baltimore must consider how new additions will fit into the locker room culture and scheme, as personality management and cohesion remain just as important as talent. The decisions made during this period will have ripple effects, shaping both the immediate competitiveness of the roster and the team's trajectory over the next several seasons. Of course, Lamar Jackson remains the central figure around which the offense revolves. His health, development, and ability to connect with his receivers will define the ceiling of the Ravens' potential. Jackson's unique skill set demands an offense built to maximize his strengths, whether through creative route combinations, strategic use of motion, or leveraging the running game to keep defenses off balance. Maintaining continuity with key offensive pieces is therefore critical. Flowers, Zay, and tight ends like Mark Andrews must mesh with Jackson in a way that allows the team to execute consistently under pressure. The interplay between quarterback and receiving cores will continue to be a major storyline as the Ravens seek to combine explosive playmaking with sustainable efficiency, while offense garners significant attention. The defensive unit is no less crucial to Baltimore's success. Edge rushers, linebackers, and secondary players must all contribute to a cohesive system capable of limiting explosive plays and creating turnovers. Jones anchors the interior, but the team must consider how to pair him effectively with other linemen to maximize pressure, while maintaining run defense integrity. Player development, scheme adjustments, and roster reinforcement all intersect in the offseason plan, emphasizing that success depends on careful orchestration rather than isolated individual talent. Maintaining a balanced approach across the roster, ensuring depth, and preparing for contingencies will define how the Ravens approach the offseason and position themselves for success in the 2026 campaign. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. The normally composed atmosphere around the Bengals locker room has been anything but calm, as shocking news has fans and insiders buzzing across the league. Sources close to the team suggest that a last-minute update, the nature of which remains murky, has thrown the Bengals' pre-game preparations into disarray, leaving the Ravens with what some are calling an unexpected edge. While neither team has confirmed the specifics, whispers of injuries, tactical shifts, or even administrative missteps have fueled speculation that the Bengals might be entering the contest on unstable footing. Inside the facility, observers describe a tense mood. Coaches have been seen in rapid-fire meetings, and veteran players appear to be walking a fine line between focus and frustration. Reports hint that crucial starters might be dealing with issues that could force last-minute adjustments, and the ripple effect has already affected practice schedules. Rumors abound that the Ravens, ever opportunistic, have picked up on the situation, fine-tuning their own game plan to exploit any weaknesses before the whistle blows. Analysts and former players alike have weighed in, with many suggesting that even the perception of chaos can be enough to tilt momentum. Football is as much mental as it is physical, one commentator noted. And when one team is visibly unsettled, the other senses it immediately. The Ravens thrive on that. Fans have taken to social media, speculating wildly on the cause of the disruption. Some point to lineup changes, others suggest internal conflicts or last-minute injury scares. Theories range from the mundane to the bizarre, but all agree on one point: the Bengals' usual composure seems shaken. Meanwhile, Ravens insiders remain tight-lipped but are rumored to be quietly confident. Sources say that the team has used the window created by the Bengals' turbulence to sharpen strategies and reinforce key plays. Coaches are reportedly emphasizing discipline and patience, aiming to capitalize on any openings the Bengals' uncertainty might produce. If true, this could mark a rare shift in the balance of power, at least psychologically, before the first snap. Whether the Bengals can steady themselves or if the Ravens' advantage becomes decisive remains a matter of speculation, but one thing is certain: the chatter surrounding this matchup has reached a fever pitch. Fans, pundits, and bettors alike are hanging on every whisper, wondering if the Bengals' panic is just a momentary tremor or the start of a much larger shakeup. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.